All right, y'all, it's Wild Riley, and I'm back. Sorry about my lack of videos. I just uploaded a whole bunch of videos that I had somehow, like, they were on private or something. Like, I don't know what happened with YouTube, but it automatically put on private, so I figured that out, straightened them out, and so there's like a big dump of videos that happen. But anyway, right now I'm making wine out of our harvest. So, got a little crabapple tree in the front yard. It's kind of a sickly old tree, but it produces a good amount of apples, so I leave it around. And I'm kind of back planting that. Blackberry bushes all the way down in the ditch in the front yard. And then we've been collecting all kinds of Middle Eastern zucchini, plums, cherry tomatoes, different types of heirloom tomatoes, things like that. But I'm kind of doing like a little combo. So I kind of rinse these berries, any kind of bird poop or, worms that live in them. So I put ice water in that bowl, soaked them until all the ice melted, then strained out all the water. And I strained all the water and the yeast into this little vessel here. So then I chopped all the apples, all the cores of the apples, and then chopped up everything else here on the countertop. And so we're going to go over here to my little fermenter. And I got hot water with honey, kind of honey wash in there. And I got table sugar, some lemon, a bunch of apple slices, and honey. And now blackberry yeast from rinsing the blackberries off. So we're going to do us a little ferment here. And so I'm going to leave all the heavy debris at the bottom. And you can see there's a few little speckles that went in there. That's okay. I'm going to set this over here by the grain mill. And then we got that honey wash. So this bucket had some nectar, honey in it that began to ferment. And we're just going to go ahead and dump that hot honey water in there. And there's still a little bit of honey residue at the bottom. And that's okay, because I'm going to take this back over here to the sink. And begin filling it back up with hot water. Meanwhile, I'm going to take the spoon while that's filling up, because you can see that's like sugar there. I was kind of generous with the sugar. We're going to go ahead and kind of use that hot water and kind of stir in all these apples and honey and sugar and get it all to dissolve and kind of become one. So this is going to be like a cider mead, using the cider from the apples. And it is actually a little bit hot. But some of this yeast is pretty tough. And so, yeah, let the strong yeast survive, right? Anything that's not going to be strong enough to survive will get kind of ruined by the heat. We'll stir that all around. And now all those big clumps of sugar are kind of broken up. And now we have a base for a good ferment here. And this is really, it's like it's like technically 17 gallons, I think, something like that. Yeah, 17 gallons. And it's like a feed container, but I use them for fermenting because it's white plastic, which is food grade. So I have another mead right here, and they're next to the fireplace. And I burn paper and stuff in there during the summer. And then, so this is going to be the kind of honey fermented with the yeast, and you can already see it starting to kind of froth up and kind of foam. That's a good thing. It's already starting to activate the yeast from the apples and from the blackberries, and that's what I want. I want that wild yeast. That's the good stuff. So back over here, Now I'm gonna kind of switch it to cooler water. I'll wash my sticky honey-laden hands off. When I do mead, a lot of times I'll add a little bit of sugar, sometimes a lot of sugar, sometimes half, like 50-50 sugar-honey combo. Because then as the alcohol breaks down the sugar, you're not left with just the background flavor of honey. It kind of reduces that, and it's not so kind of, you know, honey has a unique flavor. Not everybody even likes the flavor of honey because of that background flavor. And having a little bit of sugar mixed in will kind of help with that. So, all right, take this bucket. Just take it right back over here. And we're just gonna go ahead and add another bucket load. You can see we have about another bucket or so left to go. So we're gonna take, and here we go, back to the sink. And there's still a little bit of residual honey down there. This time it's just gonna be cold. So I went hot to initially dissolve the sugar. Then we went half hot, or maybe 2/3 hot, and then the rest cold. And now we're just going all cold for the rest of it. And that way, we're kind of gradually stepping down the temperature, and we're not killing our wild yeast, whatever survived the initial hot flash. And so I'm gonna kind of stir that in a little bit. Skins and apples and all. And we got some lemon. I chopped up a lemon and tossed it in there to add a little acidity. A little bit of that lemon flavor really helps. And really with these kind of wine type ferments, it's not like beer, which has got to be completely sterile and you got to control every aspect. With wine, it's kind of the acidity that makes it so it doesn't get contaminated with like penicillin or, you know, some kind of fungus invasion or bad bacteria. So it's the acidity, kind of like lacto fermentation, where you're actually embracing the acidity of the bacteria that only salt water allows the good bacteria, and then the bad bacteria doesn't make it, and then you kind of ferment your veggies. This is more of an alcohol ferment using acidity and wild yeast. So I'm not pitching any store-bought yeast. It's just blackberry and apple yeast right out here from my front yard. So there, if you kind of look right there, right above that beehive, that's the apple. And those IBC totes, that's where all the blackberries are grown, or most of them anyway. At least for this yeast, I got them from down there. So kind of embracing that wild yeast using the rinse that I collected from the blackberries and from the apples. Zoop. And so here we are. And look at that. It's already frothing up. This eager yeast, it's gonna start breaking down all the sugar, that apple and that honey and that table sugar. And we're gonna be styling pretty soon. So now back over here. Yeah, we got about 2/3 of a bucket of cold water. And that should be enough to do the trick. So come back here. Pour that last little bit in. And we want to leave a little bit of headspace, because if this guy really, well, it worked out perfect because I used all the water in the bucket. So yeah, but that's about the headspace. You want to leave like a gallon or two missing. So it's about 15 gallons, maybe 15 and a half, maybe 16, but yeah, a little bit of a headspace there. Yeah, because if this frothy yeast really starts breaking down all these sugars, we got simple sugar, compound sugar, honey, whatever kind of sugar that is, acidic type sugar. And so it's gonna really carry that yeast through its life cycle, its program. And we're gonna end up generating a really, really tasty alcohol. It's going to be I guess a apple cider mead, or apple mead cider or something like that. So now I'm going to just take and rinse off that lid because it's sitting there on the dirty floor. I'm going to kind of twist lock it and clip it in. And I'll give you plenty of updates along the process, the flavor profile, and that'll be 15 gallons of wine. And now a regular bottle of wine is 1/4 of a gallon, roughly speaking. Maybe more, maybe less. So I usually calculate it 4 bottles per gallon, so 15. That's roughly 60 bottles of wine minus like the actual apples or whatever medium that I'm fermenting, whether it's blackberries or elderberries. Honey is pretty good because it completely dissolves. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope you're working on your own ferments and your own alchemy, creating like a chemical reaction and converting something from one form to another that makes it even more beneficial. Because these crab apples are just falling in the grass. They're not really the best for eating, but they have a good yeast on them. The blackberries needed to get rinsed, and all the yeast that I rinsed off them, that's going to be adding to this ferment. And then we're going to do blackberry pie, blackberry jam, blackberry wine, whatever we want to do with blackberries. But in the meantime, we're using all the components. So anyway, this is Wild Riley out. Have a good day. Bye.